You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show.
Can't you see it's we who own the night? Can't you see it's we who bought that life?
Hello everybody, Bing is for doing, and we're here doing a Miley Cyrus version of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians after show for Halloween. Season 8, episode 18, all signs point to North. We're all in Miley attire.
Oh, are we?
Except for Justin.
Are we? So, listen up everybody, and especially if you are watching right now on YouTube, you are going to see in our studio that my other 3 lovely co-hosts apparently got together and decided that they are all gonna go as Miley Cyrus for Halloween.
Woo!
Woo!
Who did not find out about this until they walked into the studio tonight?
This guy.
Yeah, but you know what?
Whoopsie.
This
We
chump
offered
right
to
here.
put pigtails in his hair.
We could have
and
done
said
He
no.
didn't go for the buns.
Rude.
That's
I have really short
or
blonde
the
hair.
red lipstick.
I mean,
last
Jason, you
minute.
look great in your short buns and lipstick. However, I just didn't know if I could pull it off quite like
Damn
you all
it,
could.
what a waste.
What a waste. But you guys look great. Happy Halloween.
Happy
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween. Miley's covering the Kardashians.
I know, here we are. We've got a
Like
lot
our
to
pop
cover
culture.
tonight.
Lots of stuff going
News
on.
and gossip mainly, but we'll talk about the episode too, since that's why we're here. First up, we've got this whole thing with Bruce and Jeff. What's his
Dunham.
name? Jeff Dunham, and they've got this weird bromance going on. And it's almost like we all know Bruce and Kris are getting divorced. It's almost like he's replacing Kris with Jeff, and it's just super awkward to watch, don't you think?
I don't think it's. I think Brody makes it awkward. I think Jeff Dunham, like he said himself, when Bruce told him, "Oh, Brody thinks I'm coming on too strong." Jeff Dunham's like, "Brody's being a chick." Like, honestly, it's a friendship. You don't think that much into. If you're just friends, you want to hang out with each other. You don't think that much into it. And I don't think Bruce was thinking that much into it. Bruce was finally just being himself and getting to be the center of attention for once, which was funny seeing Bruce enjoy it so much. And so I kind of felt bad that Brody was giving him such a hard time for it. Like, let him have a bromance.
I don't know
Leave
though,
him
because
alone.
I feel like the way he approached it was creepy though.
Who
Yeah, the
approached
color
it?
me
Brody
mine
or
stuff.
Bruce?
Bruce, he's like,
That is
oh,
weird, the
Jeff,
color
Jeff,
me
Jeff. Like, he made him a little penguin.
Yeah,
But it
that
might have
part
been an
was
inside
weird.
joke. It could have been an inside joke.
I feel like I'm happy for Bruce because he can finally have a
He needs
friend.
friends.
You know, he's been on such a tight leash, I
Yeah.
feel like, with the Kardashians for a while. And now he has his own place. He can have friends or date or whatever now. I feel like it's a good thing for him and it's healthy to have a good friendship like that. But you don't go make grown men color me mine penguins. I love penguins, by the way.
could
So
be an
if you want to
inside
make me
joke.
one of those, I mean, that's fine. But it's just a little bit weird because he's like so nervous around him
Yeah.
too. It's like they're dating and they just met on Tinder or something. It's really awkward.
That's
So funny.
So now it's like there's now a social app for like what bromances out there. Thank you, Tinder. No, I thought
there
it
might
was. I thought it was great, you know, and like you guys said, I thought probably the creepiest people about it were maybe even like Brody and them. I don't know, like these guys are like older, like just let them be excited about their new bromance.
What I
Instead
found
of being like
creepier
play
was
hard
the
to
clubbing.
get.
Yeah.
That's where it got weird.
Oh, and they're at the club. That was weird, and Leah was dancing.
Leah's dancing like right up next to Bruce and he's just like bobbing his head.
Taking tequila shots. And it's just weird that, like, all of a sudden Bruce is single and he's, like, going crazy when he used to, like,
Well,
you know,
okay, we
like,
haven't
diss.
technically, and we'll get into this too, but they haven't addressed it yet on the show.
Yeah.
They
I think
barely
they're
did
going
this
to though,
episode.
because they haven't, because it all happened after the Khloe and the Mar stuff, and we haven't seen that yet. So I feel like we'll see it in a couple months.
And he officially moved out when Kim and Kanye moved in.
They haven't really
That's-
announced
They
that.
cleaned
yet.
out his garage area.
That's what the tabloids are saying.
I
And
think
know
that's
it's
probably
tabloids,
true.
but that's when he officially moved out.
Yeah.
But I feel like,
On the show, they haven't
yeah,
addressed it.
I feel like they are going to bring it up on the show. They have to.
Oh yeah, they said that they are going to address it in the show as well.
Awesome.
So we're gonna get all that.
Well, speaking about his new bromance, what did you guys think about when Jeff was poking fun at Bruce? Because remember, he got kind of upset about the whole Jimmy Fallon thing.
Which I thought he kind of. I mean, if you're in the spotlight and you're in this position, that's part of the job.
Yeah.
And especially that's a comedian's job to rip on people in the spotlight. And I feel like he needs to take
Is that a comedian's job?
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like a Jimmy
Cause
Fallon type
entertainment.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's like pop culture comedy. But I thought Jeff Dunham wasn't like very mean. It was kind of lighthearted the way he did it, and I thought Bruce took it well.
I still think it's awkward though, and especially because they made a big deal about it on Keeping Up with the Kardashians,
Yeah.
where Bruce was really insulted, and he talked about how, pardon me, Jimmy Fallon annoyed him, and then he has this bromance, but when Jeff Dunham does it, oh, it's just so hilarious and
But
funny.
maybe it's because they're friends first, so then he
Yeah.
feels like he has a right.
fair.
It's kind of like when like you can make fun of your siblings, but if anybody else makes fun of
Yeah.
them, you'll beat them up. Like it's like if you have that rapport already, like it's fine, like free game. Because I'm sure he makes fun of them too. Like, dude, like I know you have a lot of money, but you made this money because you talk through puppets.
Which,
Like,
I know, which
speaking
is
of their
creepy.
money, it looks like they have a lot of fun with their money because Jeff had all those cool toys they were riding around
God.
on.
Look at
and
that toy
that
tank, and then there was that
thing.
skeleton Jeep thing.
Adult babies.
It looks like so much fun.
Helicopters.
I'd
yeah.
hang out with
They're-
them, too, to play
They
with
are the
them.
perfect
Fancy
bromance
toys.
together. Perfect bromance.
They're adorbs.
So the other weird thing kind of happening this episode is Khloe goes out to help on Skid Row. And it was weird because when it first started, it was Khloe and Scott driving around, and it was approached kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like when that crack lady came up to the car, I started giggling, and then shit got serious real fast. And then they went to Skid Row because I guess their dad used to take them there, which I thought was kind of cool. And they've done stuff like that on the Kardashians before. And then Khloe ends up helping out at the center, and it's kind of inspiring and a cool story.
I love how Khloe does that stuff. I feel like she could. I mentioned this earlier when we were watching. I feel like she could be the next Oprah because she's all glamorous and living the celebrity life,
Yeah.
but she's so relatable and she cares about what other people are going through. And, you know, there's such a huge world out here and other people besides this little bubble in Hollywood. And I think a lot of celebrities get caught up in that celebrity drug environment.
Yeah.
Everything's about money and partying and stuff. And I'm glad to see that she's really grounded and has a good heart.
Now, what do you guys think? And I think it's because we all have worked in reality television that maybe have this weird, different view of how it works. But I'm wondering if this timeline of the show, this would have happened before the Khloe and Lamar kind of breakdown. However, I'm wondering, do you think that this was recently
in.
filmed and then put in as a good bridge into how they're going to address the story with Lamar and drug problems? Because
Yes,
they did a
I
lot
think
of
so.
shots, a lot of even slow motion shots of Khloe in the car when they were talking to that gentleman on the street in Hollywood
Lady.
and talking lady.
Man, lady.
Anyway,
See, I kind of see that, but at the same time, they're not going to make it look so dirty. You know what I mean? With Lamar, and it's going to be a very, like, they're going to approach it,
But,
and
like-
you'll see real emotions from
but
Khloe,
no,
but
no.
it's going to be like, he went to rehab, and it's
for
good.
sure. But I'm saying just like the whole like Chloe's reaching out from women's shelter and she's really starting to think about the power of, you know, drugs and the influence it can have on families. I think that this could have been a
You think
recent
after the
shooting.
Yes.
fact?
I
yes,
agree.
I think that this is the show in a non like really abrupt way, starting to introduce Khloe into the world of understanding drug abuse a little bit more and showing us that she's trying to reach out and understand.
Huh.
That's kind of what I took
Well, and I
from
guess
this
when
episode.
you like when they make a reality show, for people who don't know, you have to have like a story arc for the whole season.
Yeah.
So sometimes they shoot things after the fact, so it continues through, and I guess that would be what this is.
Because then at the end of this episode, that you know when they say tune in next week, and they're on that looks like some kind of bus trip, all of a sudden you
RV.
hear in the RV, pardon me, they have that voiceover of Khloe saying, and it looks like Lamar's MIA. So I thought this was a great way for them to kind of like warm up to the fact that Khloe is going to be dealing
Well,
with these issues.
and I don't think they would have been as specific with the whole crack thing.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of drugs out there on the street, but to like specifically mention in that main intro of after they go out on the streets, then they go up to that woman and she's talking to them specifically about crack and how like, you know, my mom did crack and like that's why I'm like
Yeah.
doing
Well,
crack
and
like,
crack babies. The baby topic has been
Yeah.
so relevant
Yeah.
with Khloe, how she can't get pregnant. And if her husband's doing crack, the crack baby plot line with what they were saying
Yeah.
goes perfectly. I feel like that was
Yeah.
staged and recently filmed.
And I think that the people she met with, and I think that her caring are genuine. I just
Oh,
think
yeah.
that this was definitely
Shot
possibly
later.
a shot later on and an introduction to her storyline.
Yeah, and for these shows too, they have them like doing little things that I think they don't really shoot in sequence, and then they have to fill up an episode. So let's put that there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was a good precursor to what we might be in store for in later episodes. Stay tuned.
I completely agree with you.
Exciting. So obviously the rest of the episode is about Kim's baby. So she has, it was called toxemia, and then they referred to it as something else.
Preeclampsia.
Preeclampsia.
Listen to us. We all sound like such doctors.
pills.
Placenta, preeclampsia, is a toxemia, an issue.
Yeah. So basically, your
problem.
liver shuts down. So she had to deliver the baby early. And it was kind of interesting to see how they covered this whole thing, because obviously she explained at the end she doesn't want the baby to be in the business and shown on this. And so I thought they covered it well, and it was more like the family's reaction to everything happening than what was actually going on. But I'm happy they covered it.
Well, and this is the thing. Like, we freaking saw Kourtney pull her children out of her vagina. And, like,
Yum.
we
Yes.
didn't even see, like, Kim. We saw nothing. Like, they just barely showed her in the hospital being like, I'm ready. I have
Well, and I
eggs."
think
But Kanye doesn't want that
because I read an
show.
article
know.
with Kourtney before where they, like, I think Ryan Seacrest talked to her, and he's like, you know what, we'll film it. And same with Khloe's wedding. Like, we're going to film it for you, and then you'll see how we put it together, and they have final say of what goes on. And so they kind of just filmed it like as a home video. Mm-hmm. And then Kourtney's like, okay, fine, you can put that on the show. And I'm assuming they probably did that for Kim, and they're like, shut it down.
I was still surprised though. I mean, I know we've talked a lot about how Kanye is much more away from the cameras than the rest of the Kardashian group is. However, I have to be honest. So we were watching the episode tonight, and I got an email. So this was like when they're in the hospital and they're doing the little phone. I looked at my email. I'm typing a quick email. I look back up, and they're now back at the house, and it's Kim on the phone being like, the baby's doing great. And I was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Big
I was
chunk
just,
of time
I was
missing.
just so surprised that Kim Kardashian and the Kardashian family, who are known for making the biggest stories of them all, on this episode, the lead up to the birth of the child, and it was like, oh, she had it.
I think she
ta-da,
explained it pretty
it was here.
well. I
Yeah, I
mean,
kind of liked that at the end.
how she described it at the end was perfect. She's like, I am in the spotlight. I have a lot of attention, and I like having a public life, but I can't just sign up my family members, especially a baby, up for something like that when they don't even have a say, and Kanye's not into it.
And I think it shows that she's learned a lot from her failed relationship with Kris Humphries, because that was one of the things that was his biggest issue. Like, even though I think he was a huge fame whore with the whole like situation, that was one of the things that they would argue about all the time, was when he would be like, you know, when you have kids, we're gonna move to Minnesota, and no one's gonna know your name anymore. Like, we're not gonna be on this. We're not gonna have this TV show. And she'd get all freaked out.
Well, yeah, and I feel like Kanye wants Kim to be happy and famous and who
Oh,
she is as a person.
absolutely.
And I liked how Kim approached it too. Like, this is still my career. I'm still gonna be an open book. Just this part of my life.
For now.
For now, that's their choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, two things. One, I kind of found it a little awkward, I feel like, for Scott and Kourtney. Did you guys think so at all? When she was talking to Khloe, and I mean Kim, I feel like if Scott and Kourtney watched this episode, they would kind of be like,
That's kind of rude.
what the hell?
See,
Because
parenting.
she was like, because Kim was like, I can't make that decision for my baby. Like, she doesn't know if she wants to be in the industry yet. But then Scott and Kourtney made that decision for their kids, and they're on the show.
But I
mean,
think that is, like, first, it's a different level of fame.
for sure.
And I
and
think,
both parents are into it.
yeah, and both, like, Kim and Kanye are two of the biggest people on the planet. And Kourtney said in past, too, like, Scott and I go back and forth, do we want the babies? And they weren't really on the first half of the season at all, and now they're showing a little bit today. And so I think Kourtney's probably aware. I don't feel like she would be offended by that at all.
No, yeah, and I didn't think it was weird. I just didn't know if you thought maybe they thought it'd be kind of awkward just because Kim was saying how she would want her kids on it, but then she knows her sister's kids are on it. I mean, I don't know. I liked it.
I think
but-
it almost comes down to a safety thing, though.
Yeah, definitely, because Kim, I mean, even when she was pregnant, people were like, you know, giving her threats about not getting pictures and stuff. And I feel like the way that they've had, I mean, it even sucks because we saw a little bit of it of Kris saying, no, Khloe, you cannot go to the hospital right now because it's going to draw too much attention.
Yeah.
Like, when you're dealing with an emergency situation and that is something you have to worry about, like, that sucks. Like, I think Kim has such a good attitude about it, and I think all the Kardashians do. But, like, seriously, like, I wish there were laws in this country that did protect people, you know, because they're just people too. And, like, if she's about to have a baby and it's an emergency delivery, like, let them get to the hospital without having to figure out some escape plan.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about, like that added pressure on any stressful situation anyways.
I feel like she's not as obsessed with the whole fame aspect anymore because of course she still is, working and wants her career to be as successful as it has been, but she's, not to say that she's peaked, but she's definitely had such a huge career so far and been on the cover of every magazine. Now that she has a kid and she's been through the whole marriage thing and all that, I think she's kind of okay with being a little more private and having a family now that she's older. And she's done the show for so long now. They've been on for almost a decade.
And it was funny seeing how she had more makeup on in the delivery room than she did in the last couple scenes that she was shown in after she had the baby. And I mean, and Kris has kind of said that in interviews of, oh, she's so laid back now. Like, she's kind of like not like into all this like fancy fluff anymore.
Well, I feel like it's probably so healthy for her to get a break. I mean, and not like raising a newborn baby is any sort of a break, but just a break from the spotlight. Because she's been going nonstop.
But I did find it hilarious. I mean, we've all seen probably our parents, our friends, photos of them like right before delivery. And let's be honest, no one really looks great in their moments before pregnancy. Kim looked great.
Glam squad.
I mean, like how
Did the glam squad
annoyed
come?
would I mean, if I was a woman who just giving birth as well, I'd be annoyed seeing this episode and being like, that is not real. That is not how the real world works.
It didn't even hurt. It was so easy. I like my friends who have had children probably want to seriously punch her in the face and be like, "Are you serious?" Because like I've heard even like with the epidural, it's like not a pleasant experience. So
yuck.
Chloe was mimicking her. She was just making faces instead of squeezing the baby out at first. She was just like grinning.
So
and
funny.
doing weird things.
Oh my god.
I love how Kim said her vag looks good, like even better now after the baby.
Oh yeah, right when she got home, she looked at her vag in the mirror and she was like, "It's better looking now."
Keep that shit tight.
That is no, but I mean, I'm excited to see.
There's no way it looks better.
I
I'm
know.
sorry, there's no way.
Maybe she
After
Botoxed
a baby
it or
came out of
something.
you.
Can you
Absolutely
Botox
no
your
way.
vag?
Probably.
And it's interesting to see too.
Marissa, can we Google that?
I know there's vagina
don't wanna know.
reconstructive surgery.
If she Googles that, I'm gonna be afraid of the pictures that might show up.
Can you Botox your vagina?
But speaking
Tweet
of
us if you can.
yeah, and speaking of Botox vaginas, I'm surprised. Like literally the day after giving birth, she's already focused on Playboy, like getting her Playboy body.
She
Well,
wants
wait, do
that
we really
body
think
back.
that was?
Or a day or two. I mean, it's recently
I think that was like
after.
It was
a
2
couple
weeks, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I
Yeah.
feel like
about
that was
recently
Yeah, I
after.
feel like that was filmed like
She looks really
Yesterday?
good.
2 weeks ago.
But are you surprised she's gonna do it? Do you guys
No,
think she's gonna do it?
I think she definitely should.
I love her
Yeah.
reasoning too because she's gotten so much scrutiny,
Yeah.
being called a whale and fat. She can be like, "I'm so sexy right now."
Well, that's what she said, like,
Bam,
fuck
here
you,
I am.
world.
And did you see her at her recent birthday party this week? That girl looked
Looks
hot.
good.
Didn't
She's
she have
really
like a
good.
Vegas big?
Oh my god, she looked
Event.
gorgeous.
It's coming in all our gossip. Let's not
I
give
know,
it
I'm
away.
sorry,
It's
I'm
coming.
sorry.
There's so much to talk
Let's
about.
get into news and gossip. I think we
Ooh,
covered
let's
everything,
do
right?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
news
there's
and
so
gossip. Let's
much
just
to
jump
get
into
to.
it. We gotta
Stuff.
just talk about news and gossip.
So much going on.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Is it those buns that are getting to right
My
now?
buns
Keeps
are
having
just
The
trouble
buns
with
with
her
the
headset.
headphones. It's like, do you
It's
put
very
the thing in front or behind?
If you're listening right now, you're not able to see it on YouTube. They are
Miley, I
trying
don't know
to.
how you
What
do it.
would Miley do?
They are battling with their headsets because their buns are so big on the top of
She
their
would probably
heads.
have this
I
behind.
got some Kim
like a
Kardashian
DJ.
buns on my head.
Oh.
Right now.
So for the news and gossip, there's so much to get to. But should we start with the birthday party in Vegas?
Yeah, we
Yes.
might as well.
Might
It was
as well.
quite the bash. You said it was in Las Vegas, 33rd birthday, and I believe it was at Tao, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, she looked amazing.
Kardashians love Tao.
They do.
I feel like all their stuff is there.
Her
And-
boobs have significantly shrunk, though. I mean, she's been letting the girls out to play for like a lot since she had this
Yeah.
baby. And in the show,
Her boobs are
were
gigantic.
huge.
Yeah.
Would you
They're
say melons?
melon, like cantaloupe.
She
Cantaloupes,
doesn't even
large
need to
cantaloupes.
let them out to play because they're just gonna pop out. Anyways.
They're coming out either way.
But
Yeah.
she just looks so beautiful. She has like this glow about her, and like I don't know,
Her hair helps too. I know we've already talked about it in previous
She's blonde
AfterBuzz
now.
episodes, but I liked her hair, her dress, that white dress looked amazing.
Yep.
she looked
Her new
tan,
look.
spray tan beautifully.
Yeah, she
Work,
looked
Kim.
great. And another thing that was looked beautiful on her on the red carpet for her Vegas birthday party was
A ring.
her ring. Now, I hope everyone listening, everyone that is watching, I hope you guys have seen the proposal video. It
Yes.
is amazing.
It's so cool.
It's like out of a movie.
I have to say
Out
props
of
to
a movie.
Kanye for proposing in San Francisco. It's such a romantic, beautiful city to get proposed in. I love that he did that.
and renting out a freaking baseball field, putting a whole string orchestra together to play that Lana Del Rey song, "Young and Beautiful,"
Yep,
which
and
if
then
you've
they
seen
played-
Gatsby, it's a great,
Yeah.
great song. And I mean, come on.
So
It's
romantic.
so cool. And
And
that's-
her
but
ring,
it's Kim
like
Kardashian.
floating. It's like a
Yes.
diamond just floating on her finger.
Yeah, and if you haven't, read about this or seen it yet, basically what happens is, and there's a video of it, and there was the creator of YouTube, was the one who videotaped this at the baseball field, and it's just this. It's in the dark with just a few candles, these like flames in the field, and Kim is right by the pitcher's mound, and Kanye's there, and it's all dark, but there is a live string orchestra in the outfield, playing this music with the candles, and then halfway through his proposal to her, the lights come on to the whole stadium, and then you just see this orchestra, the music's playing, it's amazing, and then her whole family and friends
I
are
love
waiting
that.
in the dugouts, and as soon as he finally pulls the ring out and she says yes, then the music gets even louder, and then the whole family runs out of the dugouts. I mean,
got the
who
chills.
does this? This is straight
it's
out of
so
a
magical.
movie.
It's so cool.
And apparently Kanye planned the whole thing himself.
Oh, but
So
you
they
have
say.
to know Kim knew
So
what
they
was
say.
going on.
She
There's
says no. She says no.
Okay.
But honestly, it's Kanye, so I'm sure he's planned so many elaborate dates for her anyways.
Yeah, she's
and just
used to
elaborate
have it
things
being-
too. That
Like
he's,
in
like,
life, yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, remember when he did that thing to Taylor Swift? That was planned.
What a dick.
And to keep up, and then to add to the gossip for this, two things about that proposal. Did you hear who supposedly is planning the wedding so far?
No.
Just Kanye.
Oh.
According to
yes, I have heard
Kim,
that, yeah.
Kanye is the planner, and she's letting
She
him
had
deal
to
with
plan
everything.
the other two.
I think that's BS. But
I
anyway,
think
The other
that's kind
two.
of good that she's not planning it because we watched how that other marriage went.
Yeah.
And she was so worked up about the dresses being perfect and Vera Wang and everything. I feel like she might be less of a bridezilla and be more chill about this wedding. And
Yeah.
Kanye has cool ideas. I mean, if that's how he proposed,
Yeah,
he knows how
you
to
know
get
how
on
to
the
manage the
romance.
wedding.
But and I mean, Kanye reorganized her whole closet and redid her whole style and
I was
fashion.
mad about that though.
Impregnate. I know, but if Kim tried to do it herself, I feel like Kanye would want to switch it up
Yeah.
anyway. So.
Yeah.
but even more gossip about this. Did you guys hear who Kris might have had there at the event or was in San Francisco cozying up with? Rumor
Give it to me.
was
Dun,
the
dun,
It's me?
dun.
Chris is apparently cozying up with the ex-bachelor Ben Flajnik.
I've never watched The
Ew.
Bachelor.
Yes.
Ew, he's like my least favorite bachelor. He picked. Oh my god.
Apparently,
Ew.
one of the
I
only
knew that is
distractions at this big proposal, that whole event last
She
night was that
invited him?
Chris is they were whispering in each other's ears apparently, and they say it's just because they're working on projects together and they're just close friends.
Huh.
Ew.
That's what they're stating.
Ew. Ew. I'm sorry.
Get it, Chris.
She's 20 years she's 20 years older than him.
You go, Chris, but I know you're a cougar, and I know whatever, but
hot
you could do
cougar.
so much better than him, Chris.
Yeah, she could.
Come on.
I thought it was interesting though, and it seemed like a really big. It seemed like a very big, even if he wasn't at the
lifetime
baseball,
event, yeah.
even if it wasn't at the actual stadium. Apparently, he was around at that time, and I just feel like that's a really big event.
Because he lives up in wine country. He owns a vineyard.
I don't
or
know.
Oh.
I'm
does something with
surprised he
wine.
even entered the picture during this important time,
That's
and a time when
interesting.
there's going to be a lot of media around. Because word spreads fast.
Yes.
So, but the proposal was
Chris.
huge.
That's crazy. Do we have anything else?
Of course, we could
Oh,
go on. It's been
yes.
so much. I mean, it's been so
So much
long
going on.
because I feel like we weren't able to come last week because of there was no new episode on. We've missed you all, but officially the split has happened. There's more about the split has happened since we were last here, and because it's not official on the show, but it's
Yeah.
now official. And I think it's interesting because maybe I'm just so naive, but when you guys were watching so far this season, and Bruce was living in that separate house, I really just kind of thought that he was hanging out at the house. I didn't really.
That's what they want you to
Yeah.
think. Though.
I
They
didn't
edited
think
it
that
to
they had
look
already
way.
split up and that's where he was permanently living. And so when this news came out that Kris and Bruce have now officially separated, but are not going to officially divorce until after 2015 season ends, then I was surprised by that.
But I
Clever.
heard, there's so many tabloids
Yeah.
and rumors going around, so who knows what's officially true. But It sounds like they've been split up for almost a year and kind of seeing other people and not really, like, very distant, kind of just staying together for the show and their family.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're coming out like, we're not into each other. And I keep seeing tabloids on magazines and stuff about Bruce lashing out at Kris, like talking about all her cheating scandals over the last 10 years and all this stuff. But I don't know if I believe all that. I believe
It's
that
hard
they
to
probably grew apart over the last year and both kind of decided to drift their
Well,
other ways.
And what I read is that they like the move out became official when Kim and Kanye moved in, and so like we saw it a little bit of him moving very briefly of him, like, you know, Kris was like basically taking his tool shed apart and putting it in boxes, and him coming and getting the boxes and like,
But
do you want me
like,
to come help organize? He's like, no, I'm fine.
I feel like in the past he would have been pissed about that. So obviously,
Yeah, because
There's
usually
something
she
there.
does move his stuff around
yeah,
like
and he
that,
gets really
and she
angry.
But
hates.
he's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, he just hates when she like touches all his stuff and kicks him out of his rooms and houses usually. So
But the nice part, he's still going to be very much in the picture because Kim's already announced that although they've planned nothing for the wedding, that he will be walking her down the aisle, which is
I think
very
that's
sweet.
cool
That's
though, because
so
he's kind
sweet.
of
Yeah.
been he's still their dad
He's- yeah.
basically, you know.
he's been the one that's been there for them.
The
And he
longest.
even promised Robert, I know in one episode Bruce said that he promised Robert when he was still very sick that he would watch over his girls and make sure his girls were safe. So I think that
Yeah,
that's
that's
only
cool.
appropriate.
What's happening with the younger girls?
Okay, did you
I'm
hear about
behind on this.
Kylie
No.
and the hotel thing? So
I heard about
Kylie and her boyfriend, who I
Jaden
believe is
Smith.
15,
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Smith, they went to some fancy Beverly Hills hotel with their friends, with their credit cards, got a bunch of alcohol, got caught partying, and you know, the paparazzi caught them, of course, and all these people, but they were really angry and lashed out back, is what I heard. Did you guys hear
Lashed
the same
back
story?
out at
I
what?
heard
And
that.
they
the
were,
paparazzi.
and they were
I
like
think it was
pissed at the paparazzi, and then
And
they
at the
were pissed
hotel
hotel
staff, yeah.
wouldn't
Wouldn't
sell
serve
them
them
alcohol
alcohol.
at the bar.
They got mad because they wouldn't sell it to them. They thought they could get it because they're celebrities,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I
and
mean,
it
props
didn't
to
work
them
out
for
them.
trying.
But then
right?
but then
we all
I
did it. We all
I know.
did it.
But after
Everyone in
that
high school
story
does.
came out, I did. Kendall and Kylie did take their blog or Twitter or something and say, like, you know, why are you guys like continuing to make up stories? We know who we are. Like, you're not gonna like tarnish our names by like making.
I feel like
up all
they
this
probably Kris is like, you need to say that this is a lie.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't
I'm
you
just, I don't know. I'm just surprised. I mean, that Jaden Smith. I mean, his dad is both his parents are pretty big in the industry. I'm kind of surprised. This will sound terrible, but I'm kind of
Love is blind.
I'm
Love
kind of
is blind.
surprised his dad is kind of like allowing his kids to hang out with the wild Kardashians. I don't
feel
know.
like
It
the
just seems like two
Kardashians-
different
It's better than
Hollywood
Justin
families.
Bieber.
I don't
And I don't think
think
the
they're that
Kardashians are
wild,
actually that
though.
wild.
I don't think they're that into.
I think they're
drugs
just
and
vocal, but I
stuff.
don't think
And that's what I
they're-
mean by wow. I mean, just like allowing so much access when the Smiths have really not been that much into they're not really in the tabloids besides doing like really great things, and you know they're a very loving
I mean,
family. But
Jaden used to hang out with Justin Bieber all the time, and then like then
Well,
they stopped
yeah.
hanging out. And the rumor was that his parents kind of stepped in and was like, "You need to stay away from this."
But I
kid."
feel like too, since the Smiths are in the industry and they know how it all works.
Yeah.
They know what's for show and what's not.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I feel like it's probably better off somebody like Kylie, that as opposed to somebody who's just trying to be his friend for the money, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It almost
Also-
seems safer.
I
Yeah.
feel like most people, when they're 15, 16, 17 in high school, you're going to go drink with your friends at some point.
Yeah.
And, you know,
yeah.
a lot of people do that at that age. It's just because they're in the public eye and they have so much money, they can go to hotels. It's just a very different experience than
Exactly.
the ones that we have.
But we did it in our friend's basement. We didn't walk
Yeah,
up to
we
some
didn't go to
hotel
the
and then get all
Beverly
yeah, and
Hilton.
then get all diva on the bartender when he was like, absolutely not.
Chilling in the 7-Eleven parking lot, asking someone to buy you alcohol.
That's
Bum
exactly what we
run.
did.
You guys want to get into some predictions?
do it.
do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I think they're going to slowly kill off the Lamar character over the next few episodes.
Yep.
Branching out from the kind of charity Skid Row crack addict stuff, branching into, oh no, can't have a crack baby, into, oh no, where's Lamar? Is he on crack? Oh, can't have his crack baby. And then, oh,
He's gone.
he's gone.
Gone. I'm excited. I don't know if we'll get this season, but to see Kris start dating again and see that covered, because you know they're gonna like cover the shit out of it on the show, and I think that's gonna be hilarious.
I'm with you, and I was going to mention it earlier. I'm so excited because I think Kim is going to, Kris is going to be a dating, like, storm. I think she is going to be, like, Miss Cougar of the town. However, I'm also kind of intrigued. I think Kris is going to be dating,
Bruce,
I think Kris will be dating a lot of guys in their 30s, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see who Bruce decides to date.
I don't think Bruce is gonna be dating
his own age. I think so.
I don't think he's. I think he's over it. I think he has his girls. His girls are his daughters, and he's been surrounded by them all the time. He doesn't need that. I don't think he needs that in his life anymore.
He's probably too old to have a sex drive.
Oh, I think Bruce has a sex drive. I don't want to think about it, but I think he has a sex drive. So yeah, I think we're gonna see. I definitely agree. I think we're gonna see Kris dating. I think that a lot's gonna happen with Lamar. Agreed. It's gonna get bad. How about you?
Oh, I'm just like hearing things, but I'm like, what's going on?
I like it.
I do too.
So what's been happening though? Before we go, I have actually slipped our producer a note during our podcast tonight, and I said, "Listen, you need to put the best twerk music on. If I'm gonna be stuck with 3 Miley Cyruses in the studio, a treat for our viewers on YouTube. It is time to see which Miley Cyrus here in the studio can twerk the best. It is now officially an AfterBuzz twerk-off. Here we go. All right.
On you?
Not on me, just right around the table right now. I will commentate for those of you driving in the car right now. All right, so Jason is up on the chair, being spanked.
Go.
All right, Danica Kennedy. Oh, you can twerk better than that. Come on. All right,
I'm
Keetin.
gonna twerk on you.
I'm gonna get a twerk on. This is. Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna now turn to our producer, Marissa. Who do you think had the best twerk of the night?
Everyone.
Everyone,
you all win.
Playing it safe.
Thanks so much,
let us
everybody,
know
for
who you think
tuning
has the
in.
best
Yeah,
twerk.
tweet at us. We're all on social media. Where can they find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Danica Kennedy. And I'm starting a new YouTube channel, youtube.com/FreckleSwearsTutus.
Love.
Got it.
You can find me on Twitter at KeetinM33 and on Instagram at Keetin33.
Got it. And you can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Justin J. Nichols.
And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Jason Ikeler, or my website is jasoninla.com. And we will all be back in here next week.
Can't wait.
Twerk, twerk, twerk.
I like that twerk.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
It's
Miley, y'all.
Buzz you later.
Herein are those who do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners and principals.